Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, oh wait, we're not allowed to say that anymore. The left's war on women and girls continues unabated, and it's racking up victims, folks. As we bend the concept of gender and society along with it, we must consider the wreckage being left behind. It's going to mar an entire generation of children. And like so many others the left claims to help, it will also most certainly hurt transgender people as well. You know, leftists in this country started by eroding the work ethic. Then they moved to eliminate religion, biblical truth, the two-parent family structure, and rewrite the language. Now they're going after science and gender. Just ask the Walt Disney Corporation that announced this week it doesn't believe parents should have control over sexual information given to 5-year-olds. It was also revealed this week that the happiest place on earth has been secretly sexualizing cartoons and embedding gender fluidity messages into children's programming in an effort to advance a radical cultural agenda. Transgender people, sports figures like Leah Thomas, for instance, deserve our compassion, our empathy, and our prayers. Those of us, for instance, who are watching this troubled young man have absolutely no idea of the internal struggle he faces. What he does not deserve is special treatment that leads to discrimination against actual biological women. Now, despite what Disney and the trans lobby will tell you, believing that you are something that you are not is a sign of a serious mental disorder, and so is desire for self-mutilation as a result. It is not to be made light of, nor is it to be dismissed as somehow normal behavior, especially for the sake of advancing a political agenda. Mental health issues in this country are at a crisis level, and they deserve our attention. Normalizing or mainstreaming gender dysphoria isn't a solution to help ease their pain. It makes particularly gender dysphoric or confused young people pawns of the left in their dangerous game of upending basic societal foundations. Forcing this ideology on society is needlessly divisive, and that divisiveness hurts the trans community and even the homosexual community, now oddly lumped in together with the gender dysphoric by the moderators of wokeness. We shouldn't doubt a transgender individual's sincerity, but we should question the motives of those people who have turned gender dysphoria into a political cudgel, a popular fad, and a cottage industry. The left's recent fascination with this particular mental disorder isn't about diversity, equality, or inclusion, folks. It's not about the health of gender dysphoric people either. It's about control. Controlling how you think, how you perceive the world, and what you believe to be true. Their efforts to control you, as usual, come with an unhealthy dose of fear. You'll be ostracized for believing in only two genders. Fear of being fired for believing someone who has male genitalia is a man and should not be in a woman's bathroom or locker room. Fear of losing business for not towing the line of the rabid woke mob. And the fear campaign and the pressure from the left and the media is very real. Recently, a nominee to the United States Supreme Court who was selected because she was an actual accomplished woman was too afraid to articulate the definition of woman when asked. The left's war on truth is rewriting history, morality, language, and now science on a scale that makes Russian war propaganda pale in comparison. They've conned everyone from bra-burning feminists to Disney that a man who thinks that he's a woman can be an actual woman. And it gets worse, folks. This week, President Biden announced that you can get an X on your passport if you're just not any sex or gender. This week, the Biden administration shockingly also endorsed youth sex change operations and what they call top surgery that will allow kids to reshape their chest area to their desired sex, and hormone therapy also for children. Taxpayer funding for this can't be far behind. This is insidious. It is a moral travesty, and it must be stopped in Congress, in the courts, in the voting booth, and with your financial decisions. Genetics determines sex, and physiology determines inherent differences between the capabilities of male and female bodies. There are physiological facts that are indisputable and separable from the afflictions of the mind. As a biological male, you should no sooner be able to call yourself a woman and compete in women's sports than you can identify as a 65-year-old, walk yourself into the local Social Security office, and rightfully demand your check when you're only 39. What is real and what is not dependent on someone's state of mind. It is established through facts, science, and demonstrable truths. The concept that reality is defined by whatever we feel or perceive, by the way, fits very much in line with the virtual reality future planned for us by big tech. Social digital platforms and our carefully curated profiles, they're the rudimentary versions of this new world where reality can be bent on a whim. In this scheme, nobody wins, least of all young women and girls, but also all children being manipulated by the media, government, schools, and even their own parents. And it also harms those who suffer from gender dysphoria. Until the stock price of companies like Disney start to tank, until teachers helping kids transition are sent to jail, until parents helping facilitate bodily mutilation of their own children are prosecuted, and until doctors who give little kids puberty blockers lose their licenses, none of this will stop. As usual, the left knows exactly what they are doing. Do you? They're all in. They're going after your kids, our grandkids. And what are you going to do to stand up for them?